We cross over to GPU, where the Principal Secretary, State Department for Broadcasting and Telecommunications, Ministry of Information Communications and the Digital Economy, Professor Edward Kisiang'ani, is addressing members of the Fourth Estate on the issue on public advertising. Let's listen in.
Evelyn Dimenji from the ministry.
Good afternoon, Martin Wandi from NTV. Good afternoon, Fidel Kizito from Capital.
Good afternoon, Brother Pamela, ministry.
Covenant journalist, KBC Radio.
No, I think that you're not KBC Radio.
Good afternoon, Faris is my name, Kennedy Broadcasting Corporation.
I've been defending the
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Enoch Mahaka, managing editor.
Thank you very much. The other officers, the PS will introduce PS over to you.
Yes.
Sorry, one more.
Good afternoon, my name is Master Smith from Daily Nation.
Yes, and there's a lady who walks in.
Good afternoon, Mr. Nigeria from Daily Nation.
Yes, thank you very much. Good afternoon. I welcome you here, and I think since this was a session for introduction, we just need to recognize that we have a lot of our officers in the ministry here. Miriam Rahedi is the head of the director of public communication. She's here. Then you have at the back the acting director, GA Michael Okidi. GA is the government advertising agency. Then of course the director of information, Joseph Koech. And then our legal officer here, Christopher Maina. And then of course the head of administration, secretary to administration, Yapan. And then of course the man who organizes everything, the directorate of public administration, is a director of public administration. Public. Time with this media briefing, it is not the usual media briefing you get. I just wanted to catch up with you. It's long since we had an interaction. Just catch up with you and to find out how you are doing, because the activities of this ministry have a direct bearing with what you do. So just to see your faces and catch up. Then secondly, to just tell you that in government a lot of things are happening, and you have very frequently been informed by our government spokesperson a couple of very many things happening. And for us in government, the things that are happening are just part of our better plan, because we committed to achieve certain things in government while in office. And I'm sure you have noticed that His Excellency the President has been almost everywhere in the villages in the Republic prosecuting this agenda. I explained to the people our challenges, sitting with them to listen to their problems, but also encouraging them that the challenges we have in government are not just challenges that are unique to us alone. Other countries are also facing the same challenges. The most important thing is how to tackle the challenges, and he has offered a lot of solutions. as government ourselves within our systems, PSS, we also have been working on solutions to make sure that things move forward. So the government is very active in this, and you have heard it elsewhere, and you have seen it too. In the digital world, you know how many digital hubs we have been doing. We are on course to develop digital hubs across the constituencies, and you saw the CS and myself in Bungoma. The CS has been in many other places, Meru. Even the launching of Wi-Fi hotspots is an ongoing process, and we are on course. With regard to the information superhighway, with our sister department, ICT, this ministry has given out 5 billion shillings to support the information superhighway connectivity. And it's on course. We released the money last year, and the connectivity is going on. So we anticipate that we are going to achieve quite a lot of things in that sector. In agriculture, I think you have seen what the subsidized fertilizer is doing, and in many parts of the country with good rainfall, I think the food situation is not going to be as critical as it was over 1 year ago. So I think the reforms that have taken place in the education sector, you also know that we now have an open university. We have already given a tender, advertised for the post of Vice Chancellor for that open university, which will make millions of people across the world, including our own, to access education on the online platform using the open university. At the ministry level, you know, you had questions about what was happening at the Communication Authority of Kenya, and we have already recruited the Director General there now. Nobody is acting at the Communication Authority. You deal with it every day. So there is no crisis at the Communication Authority. We have fixed the problem of leadership. We also have already recruited the CEO for Kenya Institute of Mass Communication. Nobody's acting there. They have a substantive tenure now. And we shortly will be announcing the chief executive for the Kenya Yearbook, because the interviews have been done, and therefore what is remaining is to just announce the winner. So the acting status there will also disappear very, very, very shortly. So a couple of things that you really just need probably to know is that in terms of creating the digital jobs, I think we have created about 968, and trained even these young people to acquire digital skills. And this has happened. You can go to, if you have some time and you are in the nearest digital hub, maybe in Activate, just check. You will be shocked by what you'll find there. In Bungoma last week, there is a kid at Sangalo called Brian Masibo, who told us that in the past 1 year he has made 2 million shillings from the digital jobs. So the challenge is how many other people should we connect so that we create more digital jobs? So if you check, those who started early have started making money, and they are working with American companies. Some of them don't go to bed until morning because they start doing their digital jobs around 2, 3, depending on which part of the world they are working. They don't need a passport. You know, this is a progressive thing that your own relatives, my own relatives can benefit, your own friends, and it's going on in our country. So this is within the framework of what we intended to achieve. So, Konza City is also on course, and I think you'll see a lot of activities there. And given that it's also hosting one of our data centers, I think everybody is going to benefit from Konza. Now, so far we have rolled out about 1,210 Wi-Fi hotspots. This is substantial because it means that very shortly we shall achieve our objective. If you look at the 5-year period and we start accelerating, we are likely to achieve our objective of having at least 25,000 hotspots in the next 5 years. Now, when you add that to the connectivity of 100,000 kilometers, I think if we can achieve that in the next 5 years, we are in office, we shall have done the Kenyan people a lot of good. So everybody in this government is busy, including the ministry officials, to make sure that we achieve our objective and to support His Excellency, the President, to achieve his promise to the people of Kenya. I think the last thing is that we have reduced the money that goes into government advertisement. And maybe because that also affects you, I'll spend some time around there. We have reduced it by about 47%. And when you compare that with what I told you about Konza, what I've said in agriculture, you know that we are making a lot of progress. I think you have to recognize the reforms in the education sector. They are starting to bear fruit. But we require a lot of investment and we require a lot of discipline. I think as government, we do not think that we are perfect. No. But what I'm explaining to you as taking place in our country is not a manifestation of a failed system, a broken system. I don't think a broken system is a system where you create, you build 1,000, you set up 1,210 hotspots which are giving our students, kids, job opportunities. I don't think that when you reduce advertisement money so that you spend less on advertisement, you are a collapsed system. I don't think when you subsidize people in agriculture and make sure that our farmers have enough food, our people have enough food to feed themselves, I don't think you can say that is a failed system. If you bring new investors in Konza, that doesn't mean that you have and you have probably 70 now online. That doesn't show a broken system. If you are continuing with connectivity, and as government you have allocated 5 billion to support our superhighway infrastructure, that's not a manifestation of a broken system. So, and of course we have other key commitments. We shall continue with the connectivity, create more jobs in the next year, facilitate e-commerce. There have been talks about reforms in the e-commerce sector. The national addressing system policy is ready. Many documents are at different stages of drafting to make sure that Posta gets money out of the national addressing system. You know, if you don't have a national addressing system, e-commerce becomes difficult because how do you do last mile deliveries? So with the support of the international, the UN, we have at least a policy which we can use to do the national addressing system. The KIGA regulations also, which affect you, are on course. The regulations are ready, but we have also set up a sector working group for this space. And you know, most of your members have joined us. So that means the government recognizes the value of the media. That's why the people who are now patronizing our sector working group are from the media private sector. Subeda, one of them. So it means we value you. This is one of my reasons for catching up to still assure you that we value the media very much, and that's why you are working with us, and we shall continue working with you without any discrimination. I want also to assure you that people have this tendency to keep saying, you know what, if you didn't support one side of government, one side of the political device, then you are discriminated against. The president has told us clearly, and we're doing it. Nobody should be discriminated against because of their political orientation. This government is not a government for a particular wing. It's a government for all Kenyans. So nobody, and if that's happening even in your media houses, report it to us. We shall act. Those of you who have come to my office as individuals, we don't ask about your political orientation. All PSS can't ask about political orientation. All ministers, we serve all Kenyans without discrimination. So as a ministry, we serve media. Our relationship with the media is without discrimination. So if you have had that kind of impression, please know that that is not our official position. And I think we have been working with you. So if you are in our sector working group suggesting how we can improve this space, that is not a reflection of a government which has broken down or a system which has broken down. I'm repeating that because the broken system came from you, but it is not true. So I just think that if the system is broken, maybe the pot is also broken. Is it true that the pot is broken with these things that we have done? I think you need to say that yes, there could be things we can do better, which is a fact. But to tell all Kenyans that the system has broken, and specifically go to 7 months, if we are not discriminating against you as a media, don't discriminate against government. Is it possible that the problems of Kenyatta Hospital began 7 months ago? Is it the crisis which was there at the immigration, did it start 7 months ago? I think the most important thing in this country today is to look for solutions for our problems. Whatever we do, even if we try to point out an accusing finger, won't help. What can we do better? On the e-citizen platform, which is just about ready, you see, first of all, in terms of systems, the systems to operate at very high levels of efficiency, it's almost ready, but it is operating now. We have migrated almost now, probably, we are almost 17, at various levels, 17,000 services on e-citizen. And you know, the revenue leakages, you can go and check with the Treasury. The revenue collection in Kenya has improved. We are collecting more money than we used to do. In one organization, which I won't name, a government organization, they were collecting about 2 million per month. When they migrated to e-citizen, they moved to 27, and now they are approaching the 50 million mark. So it works because these leakages that you used to see in government revenue were because there were no systems, and the people had different pay points. So these services will also attract some little charge, and that is how the revenue collection will improve. So whatever is happening is for the good of the Kenyan people. So I want to urge you, media people, to be positive. That even if certain things are not working to your satisfaction, the system has not broken down. The government is working, and it's just a matter of time. When the story of this government is told years later, you will realize that this is the best administration, the most organized administration you have had since independence. So, now that I've mentioned that, let me just maybe conclude my remarks by just addressing one small little thing which maybe has come to you but without clarification of facts. You know the work of the government advertising agents, and my officers are here. They preside over the advertisements and announcements of government declarations of job opportunities and many other things. Government tenders are also advertised through us. So the Directorate of Government Advertisement is under my office. So you have heard some stories circulating about the recent award of the tender for advertisement to one media house. There have also been claims, ladies and gentlemen, that there was no tender advertised, and you saw it on one of the media houses. A respected media personality chairing discussions on this issue claimed, after had your own tender, it was not advertised. We never saw it. So it looks like people in government, including your peers, just sat down and decided that so and so must be given a tender. So, because this is one of our achievements to reduce government advertisement, I just want to take you through something that can help you to understand what happened. On 26th of September 2023, a tender was advertised in MyGov and was circulated by the Daily Nation. That MyGov was circulated by the Daily Nation. This tender was about a contract to carry government advertisements, print advertisement in media houses. And you know, this one came against the backdrop of a renewal because we were not ready, so we renewed the earlier contract by a few months. On the 11th of October, the tender closing date arrived and the tenders were opened the same day. Ladies and gentlemen, the bidders for this tender to advertise were the following: Media Network, Media Max Network, Nation Media Group, Convergency Africa Media, Postal Corporation of Kenya, 5. These were the bidders. But there was also Serving Limited, which is, there was also Standard. Now, when they did the bidding, the tender evaluation team met, and some of them are here, including the director of GA. All these guys you see here, my officers, most of them are members of the tender system. And they will tell you, if you talk to them, they'll tell you the PS doesn't come to the tender committees to direct what they do. So, 14th to 17th December, I think 2023, was the period when now the evaluations were taking place. 3, no, not 14th to 17th, forget about that. I'm just talking about we shall come back to that later, because the tenders closed on 11th of December, of October 2023. Now the period that follows that is now the whole legal process about these tenders. So 3 bidders after the end of the evaluation sailed through and proceeded to the final negotiation stage, which is the financial negotiation. These people in tendering terms are called responsive bidders, which means they had all the documentation and they qualified to move to the next stage. And these were Nation Media, which actually had carried the evaluation, Media Max, and finally Convergence Africa Media. The 3 sailed through to the final stage. Ladies and gentlemen, the non-responsive ones are the ones that always have one document missing, one condition unmet, or the other. And these ones were Standard Media Group. The claim that there was no tender came from this media house. But they came. They were here. So which tender were they responding when they came here? Responding to? So they were a Standard Media Group who didn't come because the laws ask for you, authorize us to ask for a certain document. The document is, which they missed, was we wanted information certified by the CEO of the actual print run for the last 6 months, which they didn't present in the initial bidding, but their competitors did. So that's how they didn't make it to the next level. Nation gave us. Savvy Media Limited, SAVME Limited, did not qualify because when we checked on the KRE portal, their KRE compliance certificate had been withdrawn. So they couldn't move. Posta Corporation only bidded for distribution, but the contract was about distribution and the printing. So we also disqualified our own Postal Corporation. They wanted that job so that they can make money to move to the next, to solve their problems. We refused. Despite the fact that we have helped Posta recently to get some money to pay salaries to our relatives who work there, our friends who work there. 540 million was released by the government to help pay the Posta debts. That is not a reflection of a broken system. Then, so, when this was done, I think there is a bit that you really need to know about now the final negotiations, because that is what ends the story. The 3 media houses that qualified were called for negotiations, I think, on 13th of December. Is that correct, Okidi? 13th of December. The idea is the final negotiations is now that you have made this final stage, can you come down? So when that opportunity presented itself, the ministry